to that uh, inform you that our HOD Pankaj sir and Jitendra sir has given me an opportunity to present myself and to show my efficiency also about my workshop practices subject. And first of all, I will tell you what is the need of workshop practices. Because for a beginner, either he is from any branch, either he is from mechanical, either he is from civil, automobile, computer science, ultimately they are engineers. Because sometimes the students they are asking me, sir, what is the need of workshop practices for computer science students and IT students and EX students? Then I told him very frankly, see, being an engineer, you have to learn all the aspects of the mechanical engineering. I given an example also. Suppose if you want to put a mosquito net inside your house, if you want to protect you from mosquitoes, what you will do? You are going to tie up four nails with mosquito nets. Then while tying the knots of the string, four corners are required. Each and every corners you have to put a string, and you want to put the nails, जिसको कील कहते हैं, nails. Then how we are going to fix the nails inside the wall? By means of hammering only. And what about the hammering? Hammering means this is a kind of mechanical process. Then at that time, what about the mechanic? What about the computer science? What about the IT? What about the EX? Is it applicable for putting a nail inside the wall? इस तरह क्या का बहुत सारी बातें जो है ना, because we are discussing with the students in order to convince them कि why it is necessary for the workshop practices. And now I am going to present it with my PPT, and it will be very clear about the workshop practices and what type of shops are here and what type of methods are going to adopt for making a fabrication work, for the welding work, for the carpentry work, etc. Okay. Now I'm going to represent that. This is the slides for the workshop practices. It contains the carpentry, fitting, welding, foundry, smithy, sheet metal, and power tools. That means in the workshop, what kind of work is going to be? First one is the carpentry, second one is the fitting, welding, foundry, smithy, and sheet metal and power tools. What is workshop practice? Workshop practice gives the basic working knowledge required for the production of various engineering product. जो भी हम engineering product को बनाते हैं, where we are going to make the product in the workshop itself, and it depends upon how large the volume of work is. If you want to work in the workshop, it may be small work, it may be big work, and for the small work we are going to work for the small workshop only. It explains the construction and function, use and application of different working tool, equipment, machines, as well as technique of manufacturing a product from a raw material. That means for making a finished product, we are using the raw material. That means this particular raw material going to bring in the workshop, And in lieu of that one, we are going to make a finished product. The trades in the workshop practice. In workshop practice, so what are the trades? We, we have to classify the trades. That is carpentry shop, fitting shop, plumbing shop, electrical shop, sheet metal shop, welding shop. Jitan sir, the voice is clear or not? Hello.
Yes, sir. Voice is clear.
Okay, okay. Then these are the trades in the workshop practices. Then I will start with the carpentry. Carpentry means जो है ना हिंदी में क्या बोलते हैं, बढ़ई का काम करना. बढ़ई means you are working on wooden. Carpentry may be defined as the process of making wooden components. It starts from a marketable form of wooden and ends with the finished product. हम किसी किसी कोई फर्नीचर बनाते हैं. If you want to make a furniture, then we are going to take the wood, and that wood should be a geometrical size, and accordingly we are going to choose the wood in geometrical size in order to make a finished product. It deals with the building work, furniture, cabinet making, joineries, preparation of joints is one of the important operation in all the woodworks. It deals with the specific work of carpentry, like making different types of joints to form a finished product. It is very clear that for a carpentry work, the carpentry work is also called a joinery process, because in each and every, if you're going to make a door frame or if you're going to make a window frame, you need a joints. That's why if you are going to make these things, that means you have make to join. That's why carpentry is also called as a joinery process. अब क्या है टिम्बर, द वुडन द वुड वर्क या वुडन also called timber, but timber is a different word in English. Timber mean timber can be obtained by means of a grown tree only. Suppose if you are going to plant a tree, it is just six months old, and you are going to obtain the wood from that one, that is not workable. Because for making a furniture, you need a aged woods that may be around 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, like that. That's why timber is the name given to the wood obtained from a well grown tree. The tree are cut sawn into various sizes to suit the building purposes. And also in wood, you can see the grains. Grains mean there is some impression and some patterns on the wood. If the pattern may be in zigzags, it may be like interlocking, and it define the age of the wood, and the then how is the quality of the wood. And the timbers means timber also given a different name at different stages. It should be very remember. The stages may be log, bulk, post, plank, board or reaper. Log किसको कहते हैं भाई? Log उसको कहेंगे. Suppose if we are going to cut the tree from the branches, it is going to fall down on the earth. At the time, it is like a cylindrical shape without the branches. At the time, it is called a log. And walk is that one. If you are going to cut the tree, it is falling down, and at that time you are going to obtain a square cross section. That is at the stage it is called the ball. And the post is the cross section may be the cross section may be round or maybe square, but having the diameter of 175 to 300 millimeter. That is called the post. And plank is also the name of the timber, but difference is its thickness should be 50 to 150 mm, and the length must be approx 2.5 to 6.5 meter. And the board is means nowadays we, instead of wood, we are using board, ply, because ply or board, it is somewhat very economical to make a furniture or make any cupboards. That's why nowadays we are using the boards. It may be 12 mm, 8 mm, 18 mm, etc. And reaper means that type of wood we are using for the burning purpose only in the oven. So in the village areas, they are going to select the wood. They are reaping means reapers में क्या, जो ब्रांचेस, जो लॉग से कट करके जो ब्रांचेस निकल गया, जो एक्स्ट्रा वुड, एक्स्ट्रा ब्रांचेस हो गया, जो पतली जिसका डायमीटर होता है, that we are getting, that is called reapers. And reapers can be used for जलावन पर्पसेस, जिससे हम खाना बनाते हैं. इसका कोई ज्योमेट्रिकल शेप नहीं होता है. Now we can classify the timber how: softwood and hardwood. Softwood is not being going to be commercially used, but hardwood we can use very commercially, like making furniture, making door frame, making window frame, and so many furnitures, etc. And when you're going to classify, in softwood it will be cheer, devdar, walnuts, simel. In hardwood it will be teak. टीक जिसको कहते हैं सागौन कहते हैं, साल मीन्स सकुआ का कहते हैं, उसके बाद शीशम, उसके बाद मैंगो, नीम, बबूल, ये सब क्या है, ये हार्डवुड होता है. दैट कैन बी यूज्ड वेरी कॉमर्शियली. एंड दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर द wood. Seasoning of wood. Seasoning of wood is very, very important process. Suppose we are going to cut the tree from the branches. When the branches, it is going to fall down on the earth, at that time it is having considerable amount of moisture, means लकड़ी गीली होती है. और this type of moisture contains wood, you cannot use for commercial purposes. If you are going to use it, then sometimes your furniture will be cracked, your door frame will be twist, your window frame will be decayed. That's why we are using such a wood that is fully dry. And this type of drying process is very, very typical one. You cannot keep it open in the sunlight. If you are going to keep it directly on the sunlight, it may be wrapped, it may be shrink, it may be cracked, it may be decayed. That's why it is very slow process. And while seasoning of wood, we are keeping the wood inside a shed areas, and keeping this wood at least 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 years. At that time, the moisture contents will be reduced, and after reducing the moisture contents fully, you will take it in the sawmills, and you are going to cut it for the geometrical shapes. That means we can define seasoning is the art of extracting the moisture contents under controlled conditions at a uniform rate from the all part of the timber. That is called seasoning of wood. And when you will obtain a seasoned wood, it will give you very good sound, like metallic sound. If it is coming metallic sound, that means your wood is very much seasoned. And what type of defect will be in timber? Seasoning defect, conversion defect, due to insect, due to fungus, and due to natural forces. These are the defects in the timbers. अब आप देखोगे लकड़ी में क्या है, this type of grains we are going to obtain, and this type of grains is required because it is giving very good texture for the wood. In the furniture itself, if you want a good furniture, very good thick wood, and what will happen, you need such type of grains, and this grain may be straight grains, maybe spiral, maybe interlocking. कभी कभी ऐसा होता है कि sometimes the carpenters, they will make such a furniture with a jungle wood, or they will make these grains artificially, and they will make a very good coatings, very good laminations. At that time you will confuse, oh, हमको है ना बहुत बढ़िया teak wood मिला है, but actually they are going to cheat you. That's why if you want if you're going to make an order for a furniture, at that time, just you see before polishing, how is the wood and what type of wood he has given to you. Otherwise, you have been going to cheat it. And next is preservation of timber. How we are going to preserve the timber? हम जो भी फर्नीचर होता है उसको हम पॉलिशिंग करते हैं, वार्निश लगाते हैं. Why? This is a kind of preservation of the timber. If you are going to preserve the timber with the insects like termites इसको दीमक कहते हैं. दीमक है ना, लकड़ी को खा जाता है. तो खा जाता है कि उसको उसको बचाना पड़ेगा ना. तो उसको बचाने के लिए we are using some chemicals that is comes under the preservation of timbers only. इसके बाद क्या है कि वुड वर्किंग मशीनरीज, वुड जो लकड़ी का काम हम करेंगे उसमें कौन कौन सा प्रोसेस कौन कौन वर्किंग मशीनरीज हमें लगेगा. देन वी कैन क्लासिफाई इट मार्किंग एंड मेजरिंग टूल, होल्डिंग टूल, प्लानिंग टूल, कटिंग टूल, ड्रिलिंग एंड बोरिंग टूल as and miscellaneous tool. Now we can define it as we can show you in the diagram itself. The marking and measuring tools, बहुत जगह बहुत क्या होता है कि suppose you are going to be an engineer, but some faculties also they cannot identify the tools. इसमें बहुत सारा tools दिया हुआ है. I think 50% of people they won't be identify these tools, identify the tool name. That's why what is the thing, we being an engineer, we must name, we must understand the name of the tools, what is required for the carpentry work, fitting work. This in a top one, this is mortise gauge, then tri square, compass, then ruler, then measuring tape. These are required for the measuring tools. होल्डिंग टूल में बहुत लोगों का नाम पता नहीं होगा. होल्डिंग टूल एंड व्हाट इज द एप्लीकेशन ऑफ द होल्डिंग टूल्स. होल्डिंग टूल का एप्लीकेशन क्या है कि टू होल्ड द टूल्स, एंड दैट इज कॉल्ड कार्पेंट्री बेंच वाइज, सी क्लैंप एक्सेट्रा. देन प्लेनिंग टूल्स, यू नो वेरी वेल, दैट इज कॉल्ड जैक प्लेन. जैक प्लेन इज बीइंग यूज्ड फॉर द प्लेनिंग पर्पसेस. कटिंग टूल में यहाँ पर दो तरह का आरी दिया हुआ, सॉ. One is triangular saw and second one is that rectangular shape is called tenon saw. Then next one is for the cutting tool, that is called chisel. And chisel also having different names like mortise chisel, dapple chisel and firmer chisel. Then drilling boring में हम है ना, बोरिंग मतलब क्या, हम छेद करने के लिए हम गेलमेट यूज करते हैं और हैंड ड्रिल यूज कर सकते हैं और आगर यूज करते हैं. उसका मिसलिनियस टूल्स में सबको पता होगा. We are using the hammers, and hammers are so different type, like a V side. V in another side it is like V shape. It is being used for removing the nails. Then mallet, जो लकड़ी का जो हैमर होता है उसको है ना स्टूडेंट क्या कहता है, वुडन हैमर, बट वुडन हैमर इज रॉन्ग. इट इज कॉल्ड मैलेट. मैलेट के बाद हम इसको स्क्रू ड्राइवर यूज कर सकते हैं, उसके बाद फाइल्स यूज करते हैं. इसका फिटिंग का जो होता है, फिटिंग में क्या है, फिटिंग वर्क को हम लोग बेंच वर्क भी कहते हैं, क्योंकि सपोज इफ यू वांट टू डू सम असेंबली वर्क देन यू विल यूज द बेंच ओनली.
मनोज सर आपकी साउंड नहीं आ रही है.
नहीं आ रही है? अब आ रही है?
हेलो मनोज सर.
हाँ अब आ रही है.
मनोज सर, you have I think muted yourself.
Let me see.
खुद ही लेफ्ट हो गए.
सर आवाज आ रही है अब?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now it is fine.
इट इज फाइन है ना? सर आप बताना, आप है ना? अभी साउंड आ रही है? हेलो, आ रही है?
सर आ रही है।
हाँ हाँ।
हेलो,
फिटिंग दैट इज आल्सो कॉल्ड बेंच वर्क, है ना? तो आ रही है?
हाँ जी सर आ रही है आवाज।
अच्छा ठीक है। Fitting is also called as bench work. Suppose if you want to make any assembly work, you are using the bench only. That is called fitting. That is also called bench work. उसके बाद क्या है कि what tools are required for a fitting work? This is called holding tool. Similar to the carpentry. We can call it holding tool, measuring and marking tool, cutting tools, finishing tools, and miscellaneous tools. होल्डिंग टूल में जैसा क्या है, हमने यूज किया था कारपेंट्री बेंच वाइज, दैट्स व्हाई फॉर द होल्डिंग टूल आल्सो वी आर यूजिंग द फिटिंग बेंच वाइज. उसका बी ब्लॉक एंड सी क्लैंप, उसका मेजरमेंट के लिए क्या है, वी आर यूजिंग एंड फॉर मार्किंग वी आर यूजिंग सरफेस प्लेट, ट्राई स्क्वायर, सरफेस हाइट गेज, कॉम्पास, सेंटर पंच and vernier calipers. These are the for the measuring and marking purposes. Cutting tool, इसमें भी cutting tool का यूज करते हैं, that is called hacksaw. बहुत लोगों को पता नहीं होता है, they are saying hand saw, but it is called hacksaw, chisel, then the tap and die and making drill. These are the cutting tools. Then the die holder means this is also for making outer thread in the pipes. Then reamers also being used. Suppose if you are going to make a hole, at that time what will happen, the hole will be uneven, and if you make even hole, then you're using the reamers. File is finishing tool, and file is also different shape, like round file, flat file, triangular file, etc. देन मिसलिनियस टूल्स में इसमें क्या होगा, हैमर होगा, स्पैनर होगा, बॉल पिन होगा, देन रिंग स्पैनर होगा, उसके बाद एलन की होगा, स्क्रू ड्राइवर. दीज आर कॉल्ड द मिसलिनियस एंड फिटिंग टूल्स. Then we will come across the welding tool. Welding क्या? If for the welding is a process of joining similar metal by the application of heat, or with or without the application of pressure or filler metal. It's very clear. Welding is a process of joining similar metal. Suppose if you are going to join MS, then it is required MS only. You cannot join MS to copper. It is different process. Okay. Then various type of welding process में क्या हो सकता है? Arc welding, gas welding, thermal welding, resistance welding, and friction welding. Then arc welding is very much popular, and even in the first year syllabus, we are having only arc welding and gas welding only. Because we have limited time, that's why I want to put all the things inside in this particular chapters only. Then what is the electrical circuit consists of the welding, that is called AC and DC power supply, welding electrode, welding leads, and workpiece. Then components of welding machine, then transformer, मोटर जनरेटर एंड रेक्टिफायर. मोटर जनरेटर में क्या होता है कि सपोज if you are working in a rural areas, there is no power. At that time, this particular welding machine coupled with जनरेटर, डीजी सेट, जनरेटर जिसको बोलते हैं डिजिटल जनरेटर सेट, उससे कपल्ड होता है, उसको हम मोटर जनरेटर कहते हैं, और दैट इज बीइंग यूज्ड इन द रूरल एरिया इटसेल्फ। तो रेक्टिफायर में क्या होता है, रेक्टिफायर टाइप में क्या होता है, उसमें एसी डीसी करंट हम दोनों यूज करके हम उसको वेल्डिंग प्रोसेस को फॉलो कर सकते हैं। इसके बाद है जो इलेक्ट्रोड होता है, इलेक्ट्रोड इज प्लेइंग ए इंपॉर्टेंट रोल and it is very much depends on the thickness and coated flux. It will be dust coated या light coated कह सकते हैं, medium coated and heavily coated और shielded. Then metallic arc electrode में क्या हो सकता है, it can be ferrous और non ferrous also. Suppose ferrous metal का जो होता है उसमें हम जो है ना कोई भी आयरन का पीस होता है उसी को हमें ना उसको हम वेल्डिंग कर सकते हैं, बट फॉर द नॉन फेरस वी आर यूजिंग डिफरेंट इलेक्ट्रोड्स लाइक कॉपर का, ब्रास का, ब्रॉन्ज का, एल्यूमिनियम का जो वेल्डिंग होता है, इट इज कॉल्ड डिफरेंट प्रोसेस, दैट इज कॉल्ड ब्रेजिंग प्रोसेस एंड एक्सेट्रा, वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू डिस्कस हियर इटसेल्फ. देन एंड व्हाट इज द एक्सेसरीज फॉर द वेल्डिंग, दैट इज ग्राउंड क्लैंप, दैट इज वाइट ब्रश, चिपिंग हैमर, देन फेस शील्ड and hand gloves. Face shield is very much important in order to protect your eyes as well as smokes, and hand gloves is being used for that is a special type of cloth being used for the heating purposes only, to protect from the heat only. And what will the welding technique, it will be flat one, it will be horizontal, it may be vertical, it may be like that. Then we will come across the foundry. Foundry is also a part of work practice, because in IIT syllabus also, in IRGPB syllabus also we have foundries. That's why now it is very need for the, because it was going to teach in the second year in BME only, but now foundry comes in the workshop practices also. A foundry is a industrial plant where metal is melted and cast into specific shape by pouring into a mold. फाउंड्री में क्या अभी तो क्या होता है कि बहुत सारा जो है ना, माने कि दिस इज वेरी कास्टिंग में बिल्ड, इसमें जो फाउंड्री में जो कास्टिंग प्रोसेस होता है, इट इज वेरी मच ओल्डन प्रोसेस एंड इट वाज बीइंग फॉलोड back in China, in China during the Shang dynasty only in 1122 BC, and it is very much because in foundry they were used to manufacture the warfare equipments. Then what is the in foundry, the main typical part is the making, pattern making. Pattern making जो होता है, this is just a mirror या replica of the object. What type of object we are going to make it, that is the mirror of that one. That means in casting, a pattern is a replica of the object to be cast, used to prepare the cavity into which molten material will be poured during the coating process. Pattern used in sand casting may be made of wood. The pattern जो होता है ना, pattern can be made, it can be wooden, metal or plastic only. And the pattern metal में क्या होगा कि actually क्या कि वो all the woods we cannot use. The commonly used wood is for making pattern is mahogany. Mahogany एक लकड़ी होता है, that is very soft one, and it is giving the very good surface finish, and it is lightweight and easy to work. Even the wax pattern और casting के लिए we can use, and in the combination of paraffin wax, V wax का भी हम इसका उपयोग कर सकते हैं पैटर्न मेकिंग के लिए. एंड व्हाट टाइप्स ऑफ पैटर्न्स कितने टाइप का हो सकता है, सिंगल पीस पैटर्न हो सकता है, स्प्लिट पैटर्न हो सकता है, मल्टी पीस पैटर्न हो सकता है, एज पर योर रिक्वायरमेंट. यू कैन सी दैट दे आर मेकिंग, जो मिट्टी से जो है ना ये प्रतिमा बनाता है, they are also having the patterns, but it is made of plaster of Paris. It is, you can see that they are having single pieces also, split up pieces में क्या होता है, बैक का फ्रंट का दोनों को मिक्सअप कर करके है ना, दोनों को है ना इमेज को बनाते हैं, और उसके बाद उसको हम ऐड करके एक है ना एक न्यू शेप देते हैं. इसका कोर, कोर में क्या है, कोर में बस इतनी समझना है, सपोज इफ यू वांट टू कास्ट ए हैमर, इन हैमर देयर फॉर पुटिंग द हैंडल you need a hole and that is called core. तो core में क्या होता है, suppose if you are going to cast a hammer, if you want to make a hole, at that time you need a core. That means a core is a device used in casting and molding process to produce internal cavity. They are most commonly used in sand casting but are also used in injection molding. फिर क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ फाउंड्रीज में क्या है, we can classify the foundry like ferrous foundry, steel foundry, non ferrous foundry. ferrous foundry में क्या होता है, जो एमएस जो माइल्ड स्टील होता है उसको हम गलाते हैं. स्टील फाउंड्री होता है जहां पर स्टेनलेस स्टील का बनता है. एंड नॉन फेरस फाउंड्री मतलब क्या है जहां पर ब्रास का, ब्रॉन्ज का, जहां पर यूटेंसिल्स बनता है वहां पर फाउंड्री का यूज होता है. एंड इन फाउंड्री you will be very fond of knowing what are the section of foundries. It is like pattern making shop, sand mixing shop, molding section, core making section, mold assembly and handling, melting shop, pouring, stacking of sections, finishing, heat treatment shop, and ultimately the inspection. These are the required section for a foundry. Then you will be very curious to know what is the raw material of a foundry. Raw material of foundry will be metal and alloys, fuel and melting, flux of melting, refractory. Refractories किसको कहते हैं? Refractories is like a clay. और ये क्ले का जो है ना, ये क्ले जो है ना, ये विथ स्टैंड करता है. ये क्ले जो है ना, ये फर्नेस में काम आता है और इस रिफैक्टरी मटेरियल का ब्रिक्स बनता है और फर्नेस में इसका हम लाइनिंग करते हैं और इस फर्नेस में वी कैन मेल्ट such a metal which is having high melting points. And sand and binding material. Sand and binding materials are being used. Sand में क्या होता है, sand तो बिखर जाएगा ना, इसलिए sand में क्या होता है, while making the pattern, making the core, and for the if you want to make that one, you need a binding material also, and then the material means that binding material, it will keep intact to the cell particles. That is why they are going to use the molding work में क्या है, ये that molding can be in metal or in plastic also. जैसे buckets बनता है, उसके बाद ड्रम बनता है जो प्लास्टिक का यूटेंसिल्स बनता है, can be made with the injection molding, blow molding. blow molding में क्या बनता है, blow molding में बनता है वो बड़ा जो होता है ना, प्लास्टिक का यूटेंसिल्स बनता है उसमें. एंड compressed molding, rotational molding, these are the molding processes. उसके बाद ये molding process में what type of sands are we going to use? Because the normal sands you cannot use for the molding purposes. It will be grain sand, dry sand and loam sand because it is having very good bending capabilities. Then properties of molding sands. What type of properties of the molding sands should be? अगर है ना, इसमें क्या होगा, if you are not going to find these are properties in molding sands, then you cannot use. It should be having strength, grain size and shape, thermal stability, refractoriness, flow ability, sand texture, adhesives, cohesivity, collapsibility, dry strength, and ability of plasticity, green strength, permeability, and refractoriness. These are the properties for the molding sands. And what type of tools you are going to use for the foundry work? First one, you can see the image. इसमें बहुत सारे लोग इंग्लिश में पता भी नहीं होगा टेक्निकल, व्हाट इज द टेक्निकल नेम्स फॉर दैट वन. ऊपर में जो होता है उसको है हिंदी में बेलचा कहते हैं, मगर फावड़ा कहते हैं, बट एक्चुअली दिस इज कॉल्ड, इसको हम लोग सॉवेल कहते हैं. फिर जो छन्नी होता है, छन्नी को हम लोग सीव कहते हैं या तो रिडल कहते हैं. इसका यूज होता है बालू को छन्ने के लिए. इसके बाद है ना स्वैब का यूज होता है. उसके बाद जो है ना बिलो का यूज होता है, उसके बाद लिफ्टर का यूज होता है ना, उसके बाद हैमर का यूज होता है ना। these are the tools being used in the foundry work like civil work. इसके बाद है क्या, स्मिथी एंड फोर्जिंग. स्मिथी and forging you can see on the roadside itself, because some people they are making chisel, they are making cutting tools, etc. You can see in the roadside they are using a blower. And blower को क्या करते हैं, उसमें ना उसमें मेटल को क्या करते हैं, प्लास्टिसिटी टेम्परेचर पर क्या करते हैं, उसको हीट करते हैं. हीट करने के बाद उसको फोर्ज करते हैं. फोर्ज करना मतलब क्या, हिंदी में उसको कहते हैं पीटना. पीटना मीन्स क्या, अब उसको हैमर से उसको पीटते हो. और इसको लोहारी वर्क भी कहते हैं. लोहारी वर्क मतलब क्या, स्मिथी वर्क इसमें फोर्जिंग से, बिकॉज फोर्जिंग से फोर्जिंग मीन्स क्या, you are going to give a required shape for a rod or for a plate in order to your requirement, and for that one you are going to keep it in plasticity temperature. इसके बाद टूल्स और इक्विपमेंट्स में क्या जरूरत है भाई, फोर्जिंग का काम के लिए. जो फोर्जिंग स्मिथी वर्क होता है, what type of tools and equipments are required, that is called anvil, hammer, swage block, tongs, chisel, punches, flatters and fillers. You can see in the diagram itself. ये जो फर्स्ट डायग्राम जो दिया हुआ है राइट लेफ्ट हैंड साइड में, इसको हम इसको हम कहते हैं फिलर कहते हैं. उसके बाद नेक्स्ट वन इज फ्लैटर, उसके बाद है स्वेज है, उसके बाद है ना नीचे में जो है दैट इज सेंटर पंच, हैमर, उसके बाद एनविल, उसके बाद टोंग्स, उसके बाद चिजल. These are the main tools required for the smithy work. इसमें and for the smithy the big role is for the furnace, that is called hot torso. ये क्या है, this is a kind of special furnace. This is with the blowers, or there is a fan, there is a motor, and this is a special type of oven, you can say, where this is going to be made such in order that it will get oxygens or burning gases very frequently without interruption. This type of heart is being used in and sheet metal. Sheet metal is also a kind of workshop. This comes under also a workshop practices. Sheet metal is a metal formed by an industrial progress into the flat process. Sheet metals is one of the fundamental form used in metalwork, and it can be cut and bent into various sizes and shapes. Every object, when the objects are going to fabricate it from the sheet metal, so you can see there are so many work is being done with the fabrications, like making a drum, making buckets, making small dabba, जिसको बोलते हैं small dabba containers. This is also being used with the foils only, and the metal sheet, it can be thickness of 6 mm more, and the sheet metal can be stainless steel, aluminium, brass. ये हो सकता है, कुछ स्टेनलेस स्टील का हो सकता है, एल्युमिनियम का हो सकता है, ब्रास का हो सकता है. सर साउंड तो आ रही है ना?
जी सर, आ रही है.
हाँ ठीक है. उसके बाद क्या फॉर्मिंग प्रोसेस में इसमें जो शीट मेटल का जो होता है ना, इट इज फॉर मेकिंग शीट मेटल ए फॉर्मिंग प्रोसेस आर रिक्वायर्ड, दैट इज बेंडिंग, कर्लिंग, dechamfering, deep drying, expanding, and so many things are there. Because we have very limited time now, I have to go for. Then in the workshop they are having power tools also. Power tool मतलब क्या, जो बड़ा टूल्स हमारे यहाँ रखा हुआ जो मशीन टूल्स है, लाइक लेथ मशीन, उसके बाद मिलिंग मशीन, शेपर मशीन, उसके बाद power saw. These are called power tools, and these power tools are meant for big work, And you know very well, with the lathe we can make so many so many things like the power tools में क्या हो सकता है, lathe, milling machine, radial drill machine, shaper machine, power hacksaw machine. These are the power tools. उसके बाद है ना लेथ मशीन. इसमें जो ना जो पावर टूल होता है, पावर टूल का जो मेजर मशीन होता है, दैट इज कॉल्ड लेथ मशीन. एंड द लेथ मशीन इज बीइंग यूज्ड. लेथ इज वन ऑफ द oldest important machine tools in the metal working industry. A lathe operates on the principle of rotating workpiece and a fixed cutting tool. इसमें क्या होता है कि जो एक इसका प्रिंसिपल का है. व्हाट इज द प्रिंसिपल? The work is rotating, but the tools are fixed. But in different process, the tool is moving and work is in a stationary position. The cutting tool is fed into the workpiece, which rotates about its own axis and causing the workpiece to be formed in the desired shape. और मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग में जो है ना, बी रिमेंबर, लेथ मशीन को है ना, लेथ मशीन को मदर एंड फादर का दर्जा दिया गया है टूल इंडस्ट्री में. जो मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग का टूल फैमिली है, उसमें द रोल ऑफ लेथ मशीन इज लाइक ए मदर एंड फादर. एंड लेथ मशीन it was invented in 1569 and it was used in France. Before that it was in France. When after the industrial revolution comes, then England they make the lathe. The lathe machine was adopted in a metal cutting in England during the industrial revolutions. Lathe machine also called the engine lathe because the first type of lathe was driven by a steam engine. That's why it was called the steam lathe also. इसके बाद क्या कि जो लेथ मशीन में जो ऑपरेशंस कर सकते हैं, कौन कौन से कर सकते हैं? प्लेन टर्निंग, स्टेप टर्निंग, फेसिंग, parting, drilling, reaming, boring, grooving, knurling, threading, forming, chamfering, filling, polishing, taper turning. These are the lathe operations. ये जो है ये प्लेन टर्निंग का प्रोसेस है, ये है स्टेप टर्निंग का प्रोसेस है, ये फॉर्मिंग का प्रोसेस है, ये फेसिंग का प्रोसेस है, ये पार्टिंग का प्रोसेस है, ये ड्रिलिंग एंड बोरिंग का प्रोसेस है. इसके बाद ये रीमिंग का प्रोसेस है. दैट मीन्स इसी ग्रोविंग प्रोसेस है. ये नर्लिंग प्रोसेस है, ये चैम्फरिंग प्रोसेस है, ये थ्रेडिंग प्रोसेस है. दैट मीन्स विद द लेथ वी आर गोइंग टू डू so many mechanical work, and these are the sectional views of the lathe machine. उसका milling machine में क्या है? This is also kind of power tool machine, and its task is also drilling, routing, planing, cutting, gearing, boring, extra और slotting हम कर सकते हैं इससे, milling machine से. इसका milling machine का ये sectional views है. इसके बाद है ना bench drill machine. ये इसका जो this is being used universally because this is a very common machine for the drilling purposes. इसके बाद है CNC मशीन भी जो है ना, ये वास्तव प्रैक्टिस के अंडर में आता है. उसमें क्या क्या हो सकता है भाई? CNC मिल हो सकता है, लेथ हो सकता है, प्लाज्मा कटर हो सकता है, इलेक्ट्रिकल डिस्चार्ज मशीन हो सकता है, वाटर जेट कटिंग हो सकता है. और जो CNC मशीन जो होता है, it is fully working on the programming only and to control the machine. Okay. And CNC machine में क्या है कि इसमें क्या है कि CNC machine is a process used in the manufacturing sector that involve the use the computer to control machine tools that can be controlled in this manner, including a lathe machine, milling machine, router, grinder, etc. That means, and CNC stands for the computer numerical controlled. यूज ऑफ CNC मशीन क्या है? कहाँ भाई? एम्ब्रॉयडरी वर्क में है, वुड राउटर में है, वाइड बेंडिंग मशीन, फोम कटर, लेजर कटर, सिलिंड्रिकल ग्राइंडर, and 3D printing and glass cutter. where we are going to use a CNC machine. Okay, thank you for all. Have a pleasing nice day. ठीक है सर. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. No, sir.
सर आपको पटेल सर को बाकी दे दो वो आगे वही करते हैं
हाँ सर ठीक है.
ठीक है सर, फिनिश हो गया मनोज सर.
हाँ हाँ.
थैंक यू. तो
Okay, welcome sir. Welcome to all.
thank you, sir. Dear participants, for 5 minutes break, we will stay here and keep already joined. And thereafter, Professor Gaurav Sahu sir will continue his expert lecture. I think Gaurav Sahu sir is here itself, and he will continue from 4 p.m. after just 5 minutes. Gaurav Sahu sir.
यस सर आई एम लिसनिंग
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Most welcome, sir. Gaurav sir.